Good day and welcome to another episode of What's Happening Today, presented to you by Rapido News Network. In this episode, we will start by giving updates on a new Texas law that challenges the schooling to undocumented children. We will then talk about a recent dip in the stock market. Then we will give updates on a recent development in White House in which Press Secretary Jen Psaki said that she would be leaving her job at the White House on May 13th. Post that, we will talk about a new law that might get passed in Louisiana that would treat abortion as a homicide. After that, we will discuss the new security measures at the building of Supreme Court of the United States in the aftermath of the leaked document that shows the court's willingness to overturn its own 1973 Roe versus Wade judgment. And in our final story, we will talk about the Russian Ukrainian conflict. So let's get started. In our first story, Texas Governor Greg Abbott is ready to challenge schooling of migrant children, with the Supreme Court signaling a willingness to reverse decades-old precedents like Roe v. Wade decision on abortion. Governor Abbott of Texas said on Thursday that he would seek to overturn a 1982 court decision that obligated public schools to educate all children, including undocumented immigrants. Mr. Abbott's comments opened a new front in his campaign to use his power as a governor to harden Texas against unauthorized migration. And this law demonstrated just how expansively some conservatives are thinking when it comes to the kinds of changes to American life that the court's emboldened conservative majority may be willing to allow. Now in our next story, stocks pulled back sharply on Thursday, completely erasing a rally from the prior session in a stunning reversal that delivered investors one of the worst days since 2020. The Dow Jones Industrial Average lost 1,063 points or 3.12% to close at 32,997. The tech-savvy Nasdaq Composite fell 4.99% to finish at a lowest level since November 2020. Both of these losses were the worst single-day drop since 2020. The S&P 500 fell 3.56%, making it the second worst day of the year. The move comes after a major rally for stocks on Wednesday, when the Dow surged 932 points or 2.81% and the S&P 500 gained 2.99% for the biggest gains since 2020. The Nasdaq Composite jumped 3.19%. These gains have all been erased before noon in New York on Thursday. Randy Federick, who is the managing director of trading and derivatives at Schwab Center for Financial Research, said that if you go up 3% and then you give up 0.5%, the next day that's pretty normal stuff. But having the kind of day that we had yesterday and then seeing it 100% reversed within half a day is just truly extraordinary. Large tech stocks were under pressure, with Facebook parent Meta platform and Amazon falling nearly 6.8 and 7.6% points, respectively. Microsoft dropped about 4.44%, Salesforce tumbled 7.1%, and Apple tumbled 5.6%. E-commerce stocks were also a key source of weakness on Thursday, following some disappointing quarterly reports. Etsy and eBay dropped 16.8 and 11.7% respectively after issuing a weaker than expected revenue guidance. Shopify fell nearly 15% after missing estimates on top and bottom line. The decline dragged Nasdaq to its worst day in nearly 2 years. Now in our next story, the current White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki introduced her, and I quote, partner in truth, Karine Jean-Pierre, as Biden's new press secretary. The White House broke the news in a Thursday afternoon statement that also reveals that the current press secretary, Jen Psaki, is departing on May 13th. Biden lauded Jean-Pierre as a strong voice in his administration. Psaki told reporters that she was trying not to cry as she introduced her successor. Psaki will be stepping down on May 13th, and it is reported that she will be joining left-wing television network MSNBC, though she never confirmed the new gig when she was asked about it in the past. Now, in our next story from Louisiana, Republicans in the Louisiana House advanced a bill on Wednesday that would classify abortion as homicide and allow prosecutors to criminally charge patients, with supporters citing a draft opinion leaked this week showing that the Supreme Court is ready to overturn Roe v. Wade. This legislation, which passed through a committee on a 7-2 vote, goes one step further than other anti-abortion bans that have gained momentum in the recent years. Now, this focus on punishing abortion providers and others who help facilitate this procedure. Experts says that the bill could also restrict in vitro fertilization and emergency contraception because it would grant constitutional right to a person from the moment of fertilization. Now, in our next story from Washington, D.C., tall fencing started going up around the Supreme Court in the northeastern part of Washington, D.C. on Wednesday evening as tensions rose between protesters following the leak of a draft opinion that signaled an impending overturn of Roe v. Wade. Workers erected the massive fencing around the perimeter of the Marble Building just east to the U.S. Capitol building as justices began canceling public appearances amid warnings that these protests could get increasingly violent. Now, in our final story on the Russian Ukrainian conflict, Russia is pressing its attack in the eastern region of Ukraine and in the bunkers under the Azovstal complex in Mariupol. Now, Russia is seeking a victory that President Vladimir Putin of Russia can showcase on Monday, which is Russia's Victory Day. Victory Day is an annual celebration of the Soviet defeat of Nazi Germany. Former President George W. Bush met virtually on Thursday with President Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine. We will continue to stand with Ukrainians as they stand up for their freedom, Mr. Bush said in a statement on Facebook. Chancellor Olaf Scholz of Germany said on Thursday that the German foreign minister would visit Ukraine, a sign that weeks of diplomatic bickering between the two countries may be subsided. Jill Biden, the First Lady, was en route late Thursday to Eastern Europe, where she will visit the Ukrainian refugees and tour the Slovakian border with Ukraine, according to her office. Now, that was all for the major news update for May 6th. Stay tuned for our next update on the ongoing world affairs. We hope that you find this video useful. If you like this video, hit like. And for a continued update on what's happening around the world, consider subscribing. To never miss an update whenever we post something new, hit that bell icon. If you have any comments or any suggestions for us, please let us know in the comment sections below. Thank you.